this is what the debate has been ongoing at the House of Commons. Take a look. We have Candace Spurgeon, who's the leader of the Conservative Party, when she's addressing the federal government on this issue. And then we have MP Melissa Lantsman when it comes to the travel restrictions that Canada still has in place.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has jetted off on another international trip. No airport lineups for him, and I bet we're going to see some more pictures of him with his mask off, having a great time. He flaunts the personal freedoms he's enjoying abroad, while back here, Canadians are suffering under his out-of-date restrictions. Tourism, federal employees, small businesses, families, all are suffering. They're all pawns in the Prime Minister's COVID game. Isn't it true the Prime Minister knows he needs to lift these restrictions, but he would rather do COVID theatre than do what's right?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And from the beginning of this pandemic, we've been there for Canadians. And of course, it's the Prime Minister's job and obligation to travel to other countries to do his important work. But when we hear the opposition speak positively about public health measures but badly about vaccination, it confuses the public. We should be encouraging our neighbours to consider a third or a fourth dose. We cannot have relaxed public health measures and more freedom without vaccination as COVID-19 continues to progress, but we all have an obligation to ensure that our neighbours are aware of the opportunity for a third dose. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, Canadians would like to be planning their summer vacation right now, but too many are focused on how they're going to be able to afford fuel for their cars or feed their families. Over 20% of Canadians are actually skipping a meal in order to save money. The Liberal solution? Blame. Blame COVID. Blame Putin. Blame Conservatives. Well, today, our Conservative caucus motion provides real solutions so Canadians can take that summer trip, send their kids to camp, and not worry about missing a flight. Will the Liberals support giving Canadians a break, or are they going to double down on that vindictive, petty approach?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Speaker, we absolutely understand that affordability matters for Canadians, and that's why we are taking action by increasing the Canada Workers' Benefit. This year, a family of 3 is getting $2,300 more. By increasing the OAS for seniors 75 and over by 10% this year, Mr. Speaker, and with a $500 top-up, Mr. Speaker, for people facing housing affordability challenges.
Leader of the Opposition.
Great, a few piddly checks that might dribble in through the mail, and this government thinks that that has having any impact on what Canadians are dealing with. I'll tell you, Mr. Speaker, 38% of Canadians are worried more about money than anything else that they're dealing with. So these Liberal checks that are coming from the pockets of Canadians because their taxes are going up are doing absolutely nothing. But these Liberals are so massively out of touch. They don't understand gas prices. They don't understand high food prices. They don't understand long lineups. They understand nothing about what Canadians are dealing with, and they don't care.
That's the debate that's going on in the House of Commons when it comes to the mandates and when it comes to travel and affordability, all of it, as it's a crisis that's been going on in Canada for quite some time. And I want to take you to MP Melissa Lantsman when she addresses the federal government on vaccine mandates. She is the Shadow Minister of Transport for the Conservative Party.
It's been months. The fiasco at our airports continue. Believe it or not, it's getting worse. More canceled flights, longer lineups, more delays, lost economic activity, and an international reputation in jeopardy. The minister blames travelers and is telling us that things are just as bad in other countries. And despite all the chaos, experts are saying that dropping the restrictions and mandates must happen to clear the backlogs. The government is keeping these unjustified federal mandates in place till June 30th. If experts are already telling them to drop the virtue signaling, what happens on July 1st?
The Honourable Minister of Transport.
Mr. Speaker, my honourable colleague is right in one thing. We are seeing delays at airports across the entire world. We're seeing increased demand for travel, and we're seeing increased demand, appetite for people who want to travel, and the supply is trying to catch up to it, Mr. Speaker. However, we are not resting, Mr. Speaker, until we fix these delays. We've increased resources at CATSA, at CBSA, at airports. We are working with airports, we're working with airlines, we're working with all stakeholders, and Mr. Speaker, we will do everything we can to ensure that travelers have a smooth experience. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There you have it. The debate continues, and Y Media will definitely bring you all the latest details when the federal government decides they're going to make some changes when it comes to travel, which would include having your vaccine passport, having to wear a mask, and using the Arrive Canada app.